Hello, I'm Dr. Farrell, Clinic Director of Align Wellness in Seattle, Washington. And just to recap our logo, there are three components: structure, condition, and nourish. And these three put together lead to wellness. Today I'd just like to break down a little bit more about structure. What do I mean by structure? What is your structure? Your bones are your structure when I'm talking about structure predominantly. It's really interesting. If you think about this as the bones of your spine, I don't have discs in here, but nonetheless, this moves, right, and simulating the spine in your back. And when it comes to your structure, your spine is really like a central tent pole, okay? You got a central tent pole, and that tent pole has wires that go to different parts in the ground to help keep this stable in a breeze. If the tent pole is really nicely set up, well, it would balance there all on its own, but mostly they're not, so we set them up with wires or strings to keep them upright. Your body isn't unlike that. When your structure, your spine, is in the right posture, you really stand without any effort. And that's an amazing experience. And it's always fun when we get somebody into that posture and they stand and they go, wow, I feel lighter. They feel lighter because their muscles don't have to work to hold them up. They breathe easier. Their lungs and heart have more room to move inside their chest, so that works really nicely for them. But what happens to structures, what was discovered about 25 years ago, is that although our bodies bend forward and bend backwards, and they twist to the right and twist to the left, and they bend to the right and they bend to the left, although they do all those things, when the bones get shifted forward, when they get slid forward between the base of your neck and your pelvis, when they slide forward, your body actually has no muscles to pull this bone backwards ever again. And that's a problem, because not only does this bone go forward, you notice how everything goes forward above it? So when this goes forward and my body has no way to pull it backwards again, it is forever forward. And because our bodies aren't straight up like this, and they actually end up falling forward. Well, when we're younger, teenagers or even before, or even in our 20s maybe, our bodies don't want to do this just yet. So other areas bend back to compensate. Or sometimes this part goes forward and this part has to work to compensate. Notice how my head is now forward and I've got this crazy crick in my neck? So all of these things happen on the inside, and the body can't self-correct this, so the body just kind of lives with it. A lot of times people try to work their muscles to improve this. Well, working muscles, there's a lot of benefit to that, but there's nothing like getting the structure back where it belongs in the first place. And through the specific process that we do Align Wellness, we are very effective at bringing the body back up to where it should be without effort on the client's part. Another thing that happens when this posture falls forward is that the spinal cord on the inside gets pulled on. It gets yanked on and tethered. If you ever remember those tubes you put on your fingers and pulled and it squeezed your fingers, those tubes kind of represent the spinal cord. When it's getting pulled on, the function of the nerves, the spinal cord, doesn't work as well as it could, would, should. In addition, that spinal cord is pulling on nerves that go out throughout your body. So if the nerves happen to go down to your wrist, well, if you pull on it inside here, it can cause wrist problems. I've had clients with years of pain in their wrists that when I change this, that pain disappears. So structure, getting your body into a good alignment so that there's no effort on your part to be in that alignment, and learning how to keep yourself in that alignment through shoes that are appropriate. I won't say good shoes, because a lot of times people think expensive shoes are good shoes because they're expensive and they're really nice materials, but that doesn't necessarily make it good for the body. On the other hand, people think that cheap shoes are really good because they don't cost much. Well, that's not necessarily good for the body either. There's specific characteristics of shoes that actually help them support the body or let the body function the way it should, and characteristics that break down the body and actually lead to more slump and problems. Speaking of slump, do you never notice how people over time, they never age into this posture? You ever see anybody who's 70 with this posture, 80 with this posture? Not very often, right? People age into this posture. And the older they get, the more forward they get. And that is largely because these bones slide forward. The body has no way to pull it back. There's nothing solid behind me for a muscle to attach to that it could slide this bone backwards. And because of that, and over time, gravity pulls us down further and further and further, causing so many problems from head to toe, from digestion to heart issues to lung issues to brain fog. There are many, many problems associated with this posture. So it's super important. It makes a big difference. Come check us out.